What if I told you you have been making life on yourself way more difficult than it needed to be? Now, let me just say this, it's not your fault. I've seen many players brute force the way through the leveling process, and it has been a pain. Even players that have already made it to 400, when asked, hey, how did you do it? What did you do to optimize? They literally just shout at you to run solo ops. Now, granted, solo ops actually is the best way to level up. Encore was the best, but Bungie, of course, nerfed that. With that being said, though, with the right loadouts, you can run solo op missions, most notably Caldera or K1, within 3 to 4 minutes with a half-decent loadout. But today is not a video about what builds you should be using to farm solo ops. Instead, it's about all the other things that is going to make your life throughout the leveling process here in Edge of Fate much easier. Some of these are going to be pretty basic, but hopefully you'll gain something from this that will help you on the leveling process. Now, I'm going to start with a question I got asked multiple times on stream. How are we able to load right back into the mission without having to go back and select our modifiers? So guys, if you look at the very top of your screen here in the portal, what you will see is a section called training. It'll be labeled 1 through 7, and essentially it walks you through the process of learning the portal. Now, it's a good chance you already know every single thing that's present here, but until you manually go and select the things that it wants you to select in the order that it wants you to select them, you will not ascend through these steps. Now, upon ascending through these steps, which takes you roughly, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 minutes, at the end of it, you will then be able to select your modifiers for a given mission, and then you can just reload over and over without having to go and manually select everything all over again. So don't skip that training though, guys. That's going to make things a lot easier for you to jump back into missions. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the scoring system within the portal activities. Pretty much when it comes to leveling in the game, everything is going to take place right here in the portal, whether you like it or not. Granted, if you want to go do all your leveling on Kepler, be my guest. But I can tell you right now, it's going to be way slower than doing portal activities. Now, I want to bring up the scoring here because the scoring will actually change as you level up. You see, the higher you get, you'll notice that this scoring here will start to shift down further. And then eventually, when you unlock another tier of difficulty, say going from Master to Grandmaster, the scoring system essentially wants you to go to Grandmaster in order to reach that A tier score. Now, A tier is what everyone thinks you should be going for. And don't get me wrong, A tier is good because it nets you the highest gear piece possible for your current level. For instance, A tier here right now for this K1 is 371. But there's a way to make this even easier. You see, if I go down to Master, I select my different modifiers, and I give myself a B plus tier, or more like B plus and a half. Almost A tier, but not quite. Even though the gear item here says 370, what actually ends up happening, if I go into this K1, I do my bonus objective, and I complete the mission on time, which is a very easy thing to do here. What actually ends up happening is the score rounds up. I actually reach an A tier reward. Therefore, my drop will be 371. And what's so beautiful about this is that it's the difference of 10 combatant power, which may not mean a lot to you, but as you know, deltas are everything inside of Destiny. And being able to cut off 10 extra levels on your enemies allows you to chew them down faster, while also aiding your survivability. Now, granted, if you feel confident enough to do things at A tier, you can. But I can tell you right now, from my experience, I love going for that B plus tier. I know I'm gonna do the bonus objective every single time because I'm gonna do it anyways, whether it's B plus tier or A tier. You need to always do the bonus objectives. And considering I'm speedrunning each one of these solo op missions, the goal is to always do them between 3 and 4 minutes, which always falls within that time threshold, giving me that A tier to round things off. So the point I'm trying to make here, guys, is you can go for B plus tier without actually losing out on your drops, as long as you hit the bonus objective and do the mission on time. Now, in terms of things that are the easiest to kick up your score, locked loadouts is really good. If you feel confident, you could go no HUD. Granted, I'm not a big fan of it, guys. You could also start with no ammunition. No ammo is actually doable, but not something I really do too much, considering I feel like my loadout can handle itself, even against combatants 40 levels higher than me. But those are definitely modifiers you can go with, and the reason why those are good is because it doesn't necessarily raise the difficulty of the combatants. It just puts you at a disadvantage. Locked loadout though, super easy, and no ammo is another one that you can definitely navigate around. The rest of the modifiers though are going to be modifiers that are going to increase the power level of your combatants, therefore making you take more damage and requiring them to take more damage from you, which is why I was saying it's best to get to that B plus tier and not all the way to A, as number one, it's not necessary to get the max reward, as you're going to get an A rank reward anyways by doing that bonus objective and completing the objective on time, and just number two, it just makes life easier. Speaking of making making life easier, considering that your modifiers are all saved and you're loading into the mission over and over, whether that's Caldera or K1. If you find that the bonus objective is way too high or just too difficult, fellas, you can reload. Seriously, if you load in and it says, hey, you got to get 40 precision kills, brother, I'm dipping. You see precision in these hands? Oh no, I will literally reload the mission right there on the spot. And it's a good chance that when I reload, the next objective is going to be something a bit easier. It may just be simply get weapon kills, or it could be simply get ability kills. And if it's a number within reason, let's go, baby. It takes all of like 20 to 30 seconds to reload a mission, which is why I'm saying if it's a bonus objective that looks way too difficult or too time consuming, brother, don't do it, man. Reload that mission and it's a good chance your next objective is going to be much easier. Now, on the topic of making things easier though, something we covered here recently is stacking armor ornaments. Now, what that means is when using your new gear sets and your new armor, which by the way, you want to be doing, as those pieces not only gives you armor set bonuses, they also give you passive damage resist, literally giving you more survivability. A beautiful thing that was recently discovered is that you can take armor ornaments, meaning if I want to take this Bushido piece of armor and use a synth weave on it, I can take that armor ornament and apply it to one of my pieces of gear, and get this, it will give me extra damage resist. Guys, do this for all your armor pieces. Go through each one of them. You're already giving yourself passive damage resist, and you can check it right there on the artifact. Throw those artifact mods and watch that damage resist go up. Now, it does cap out at 15%, because most of us don't have tier 5 armor yet. This is an easy way to get up to 15% before you even have the gear to do so. And again, extra survivability always helps. Now, this takes us to tiered gear in general. Tiered gear, although it's something that's going to be dropping on you throughout your grind, is really broken up into these layers, which is exactly why we're trying to get our level up as high as we can. The higher your level is, the likelier chance you're going to get a higher tier piece of gear. And of course, this is tied to the difficulty of the activity, and you'll see that when you're actually going through and selecting different modifiers, raising those levels. Now, something I do want to bring up is that when you do reach 400, which I know some of you are still very much on the grind, I'm not even 400 yet. At the time of this video, I'm 369, which is very nice. But 400, you do start to hit a wall, and I mean a pretty significant wall. I wouldn't worry about it too much. We'll worry about it when we get there. The point is, we do want to get our level high for the higher chances of getting those tier 4s and those tier 5s, which takes us to 2 resources that allows me to track and also assist me in getting my level higher. Many people have asked, what is this website that I have pulled up all the time? This is called Destiny Power Bar. Now, you don't have to use this. You can use Destiny Item Manager. I'm sure there's other resources. I like this because it gives me a visual representation of what my highest gear pieces are currently. It spits at the top what my level is. It shows each one of my items, and then it highlights which one of my items is actually the weakest. Now, the reason why this is beautiful is because I can either A, target that item within the portal itself. Maybe I'm needing some gauntlets or an energy weapon or a class item. I can go look through the portal and see what is dropping. Or B, I can take advantage of the Destiny 2 Season Pass Wayback machine. This is an extension that you can download on Chrome or even Mozilla, and what it allows you to do is to access old items from previous season passes. We made an entire video on this, guys, and I don't think Bungie is going to be nerfing this, because on the hierarchy of like things that need to be addressed in the game, my opinion, this is like the lowest. The beautiful thing about this is that it's not just the resources that are available that you can go in and grab, like Ascendant Shards or Bright Ingrams or Bright Dust or Strange Coins. It's when you go down lower and you see pieces of armor. For instance, if I needed some legs, I could go and redeem a pair of legs, and it would drop on my character, and it would drop just one level under my level. For instance, if I'm 369, I pull some legs, it will drop at 368, which I know is not at level, but it's still a gain over what I previously had. Now, like I mentioned in that video that we made, when it comes to claiming these items, you don't want to go through and just start claiming everything. You essentially just want it to run parallel throughout your leveling process and grinding these different solo op missions and whatever else inside of the portal, so that if you do find yourself in a position where you're like, man, there's nothing in the portal that's dropping a class item, and that's my most under-leveled item, that's when we want to look over there at the extension, pull up that season pass Wayback machine, and select our class item from there, and it will drop just -1 under your level. And that's another reason why I really like Power Bar, is because you have that visual representation right here. I wouldn't redeem anything from season pass Wayback unless the item is in orange. When I see orange, that's when I know, okay, that is the item I need to be focusing on, and just maybe I might go back and pull it from an old item in my season pass. Don't worry, guys, we're gonna have links links to everything down below, including Destiny Power Bar and that extension, so you can pull those items. Now, this takes us to an extremely important tab inside of the portal, and that is your seasonal hub. Your seasonal hub gives you both daily and weekly challenges. These net you XP, Bright Dust, but they also net you bonus drops. You always want to be redeeming these. And even though bonus drops aren't as high of leveled as your completion drops, they're still good, especially if you're in a situation where you look across the board and you see on Power Bar that you have multiple items that are under leveled. In that case, I usually look at my portal, I'm like, okay, what do I got here? I got anything with some bonus drops? And if I see a solo ops or even a fire team op mission that's like a 1 completion drop and like a +2 or +3 bonus drop, I can go hit those. And again, it's those daily challenges that contribute to that. Another thing that's really good from this seasonal hub is these little items right here. These little coins called Arsenal Expansion. Guys, you want to make sure you claim these. You see, when you claim these will give you Vanguard Arsenal credits. You can then go to Zavala, and in his weekly Vanguard Arms Reward tab, you will see weapons and armor. Now, these are pinnacle drops, guys. Very, very good. And I normally really claim these at the end of the week or after I've completed my leveling process. I've gone through my leveling process. I'm like, all right, I'm rounding out my week. I'm going to go pick up items here from Zavala, especially if they're my weaker items. And I look on Destiny Power Bar and I'm like, okay, I need boots and I need a chest piece, and I might just redeem those from Zavala. Now, you can only pull these once a week, and then you'll have to run through the seasonal hub, hit that weekly track, and get those Vanguard credits all over again. But definitely take advantage of this. Now, unfortunately, this is really the only vendor that's actually helpful to you. For instance, Hawthorne, who is our clan vendor. All of her rewards seem to be capped at 200, which if you're under 200, go claim them, guys. If you're like, yo, I'm gonna wait till I'm 300 or 250 to really start grabbing those, don't. They're capped. Go ahead and grab them. Another thing that's unfortunate is that the Sieve activity in Kepler, item drops from there is also capped at 300. With that being said, if you're under 300, it's actually really good, because if you're in a situation where, say, you need gauntlets, you can go attune gauntlets right there in Kepler, and then if you see the Sieve activity up, you can go run the Sieve activity, and literally within the first chest, it's a good chance you'll get the piece of armor that you're attuned to. So it's a way of saving you time here, guys, as it allows you to target the piece of gear that you're needing. Now, to be quite honest with you, literally just running solo op missions, whether it's Caldera or K1 over and over, is the best way to go. But if RNG is just punishing you and you're needing a helmet or a class item or something there that's really holding you back, that's where things like the Desi 2 Season Pass Wayback machine extension comes into play, or even attuning a specific item in Kepler and then just running a simple Civ activity to get you that drop. Now, the last thing I want to mention about Kepler is not necessarily for the leveling process, but just for the tiers of your gear, and that is getting these tier increases. Fellas, when you reach certain levels, you need to make sure you go and pick up these upgrades in Kepler. Selecting them will literally raise the tier of your gear. Now, the reason why this is great is that the likelihood of you getting a high tier piece of armor or weapon, depending on what you're attuned to, when running your 2 weekly missions is already pretty high. You get those upgrades and that goes up +1. And then if you get the upgrade again at level 450, that goes up +2. So make sure, guys, if you reach those certain level thresholds, go and pick them up, select those upgrades. That way, when you are getting drops on Kepler, you're going to be getting higher tier pieces of armor and weapons. Now, something I want to bring up, attuning in Kepler does not assist you inside of the portal. Attunement for Kepler only affects Kepler activities. And note, it doesn't seem to affect the Caldera solo op mission. At least from my experience, I haven't noticed it, but let me know, guys. My drops from that have been pretty variable, despite it being on Kepler. Today, there was also some new information going around that at Guardian rank 9, you'll start receiving more Prime Ingrams. This came from Bog on Twitter. Essentially, massive PSA, get to Guardian rank 9 before grinding for power. I just got 3 Prime Ingrams in the space of 8 runs, when some people were getting 1 in 20 before Guardian rank 9 was available. Now, let me just say, this isn't stated anywhere in the game, which led to some confusion, along with us having to be at Guardian rank 9 to even test this out. What we do have, though, is this line in our patch notes that launch when Edge of Fate release. Mid-activity rewards can be earned in some activities. Longer activities, that being exotic missions, the Coil, Onslaught, have reward chests spaced out at regular intervals. These chests aren't scored like the end activity reward, but have quality determined by seasonal power and Guardian rank progress. Challenging enemies often drop rewards, like currencies and sometimes Ingrams. Quality of reward is determined by seasonal power and guardian rank progress. All mid-activity rewards come from the loot pool for that activity. So you see that line right there, guys. Quality of the reward is determined by seasonal power and guardian rank progress. So guardian rank does seem to have some kind of effect on our drops. We just don't know the exact boost that it's giving us. Along with this, we can also boost our prime Ingram drops via the level 4 clan perk, which increases the chance of receiving prime Ingrams from portal activities. And at rank 5, you get the clan perk Daily Portal Focus, which allows you to gain an additional bonus Ingram on a daily focus activity in the portal. Now this one doesn't directly say that it's a prime, but that bonus focus can help you target something that you're missing. Now I get it. Maybe your clanmates have left you. Perhaps you don't want to make friends. But fellas, for the loot, I urge you to do so. So fellas, that's it, man. That is my list. Unfortunately, we had to go through all the most difficult ways to level up in this game before we arrived at the most optimal path. I know playing the same activity over and over is boring, which is why I'm going to tell you right now, guys, you don't have to do any of this. You can take your time. You can go through the leveling process. You can play the activities you want to play. Hell, you can even go play Crucible. These tips, though, are tips I wanted to give you that will make your life easier. They have made my life easier. The moment I found out I could do B+ instead of A, and I can operate with 10 levels off of my combatant power, that made life a lot easier for me. And it went from me doing 4-minute runs to 3-minute runs. The moment I decided to do training so I could save my modifiers to reload back inside of missions allowed me to net more drops per hour. And when I decided to just choose bonus objectives that were just easier depending on my loadouts, that right there has made the grind a lot more bearable. Yes, Caldera and K1 are probably the best solo op missions to run and arguably the fastest things to run right now to level up. If you're looking to truly optimize and work this, you can get to the point where you're getting 2.5 to 3-minute clears on these missions. But I will say this does change depending on the day. At reset every day, enemy types in these missions, they change. For instance, I don't like running Caldera when it's Vex. To me, the Fallen version is just a lot faster. And you'll notice as you're going through the grind, going between both of those solo op missions, some days the stars just align a little bit better and those speed runs get a lot faster. Either way it goes, guys, I hope this helps you. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you would like to add. We'll have a pinned comment that will include your tips. Every one of us is in the process of leveling, and we are all seeking peak optimization. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.